I feel like half my job is listening to people bitch about other people. Like, I just don't. And I don't mean that they're bitching about other people in our office. I mean, they're bitching about their buyers. They're bitching about their sellers. They're bitching about whatever it is they're bitching about. And I can't even fathom being in that position. How do you handle that? Hey everyone, welcome to Life with a Cheri on Top. I am your host, Cheri Hagan, and today I am joined by my boss and one of my favorite people, Larry Rowan. Larry is the VP of Brokerage Services for the Northwest region here in the Chicagoland area of Coldwell Banker. Welcome, Larry.
Well, thank you, Cheri. It's a pleasure to be invited in on this.
I'm so excited to have you. I really am, because I've only been in real estate for 11 plus years now. And you've been in business with Coldwell Banker for how long?
Embarrassing answers, I suppose. I've been with Coldwell Banker since 1982, which makes it something around 41 years.
That's amazing.
Something like that. And before that, I had my own real estate company, an ERA franchise, and a few more years with that. So yeah, if you're doing the math, yeah, I've got gray hair.
He does have gray hair, but trust me, he's not an old man by any stretch of the imagination. My husband has gray hair, and he's not an old man either. I do too. I just cover it up. So Larry hired me on with Coldwell Banker when after I passed my tests. You have to pass a state test and a national test, and you get your license. And then you start interviewing for positions as a realtor with different brokerages. And funny enough, I actually wasn't going to go with Coldwell Banker to begin with, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I had interviewed with several different companies, one of which was Coldwell Banker. And I really enjoyed Larry, but I just didn't feel like it was a good fit because I thought our office was too big. We had 110 at the time?
At the time, or right around there.
Yeah. Ish? Okay. I thought, oh shit, I'm new at this. So I need a smaller office and more hand holding. I'm very upfront with everybody all the time, in case you haven't figured that out already. So I had called Larry to say, hey, I'm not coming on board. I'm going to another brokerage. And he was like, why are you doing that?
Right.
And I told him why. I said, well, I just feel like your office is too big and I'll get lost in the shuffle. And he said, give me 24 hours before you call the other brokerage. And I said, okay. And I did. And within that 24 hours, Larry had sent an email to everybody in our office. So 110 plus employees, and said, tell her why she should come work for us. And the overwhelming response was, we might be large, but we're a family. That did it for me. So I had all kinds of emails Larry had kind of compiled all the emails and sent them to me. And when I was reading these, I was like, okay, this is who I have to work for. Duh. Like, now it's no question. That goes a long way for kind of explaining to everybody what kind of a guy Larry Rowan is. He just has his heart on his sleeve and is as genuine as they come in terms of bosses. And I appreciate it. So thanks, Larry.
Wow. I'm good thing this isn't on video. I'm blushing. I as you got into this, I thought you were going to bring that up because I remember it very, very well. When I interviewed you, I saw the sparkle in you. I saw the ability, the yen and the ability and the drive to succeed in what you wanted to do. And I didn't want to let you go. I knew that your mother had a little history in real estate, so it was in your genes. And I just saw that you could go big places, which you did in the first year. I think you were Rookie of the Year.
I was. Thank you.
And yeah, you did exceptionally, quite frankly. Actually, the little idea of talking to the agents and asking that question. I was amazed. That wasn't my normal routine. That was the first time I had ever tried that, and I was amazed at how fast everyone responded to me. That so I'd have the time to forward those on to you.
Isn't
And
that awesome?
yeah,
Like,
I could get emotional about it because we are a family,
yeah, we really
and
are.
I love that, and that's what frankly, counting the gray hairs on my head, that's what keeps me in the business because I really do like what I do, and I love the people in the office, and I had a little something to do with hiring them, and
Yeah, a little.
training, mentoring, and everything else that goes into the business, and I like it a lot. I like Cheri a lot, and
Oh,
she's done so well.
well, thanks, but this isn't about me. It's really the purpose of this particular subject is just to talk about real estate as a whole. And I think a lot of people in our office feel like Schaumburg is a big family, obviously, or they wouldn't have said that and I wouldn't be here, right? All of that leads to who leads us. And that is Larry. He does all the hiring, all the onboarding, a lot of the training. He's got to ensure legal compliance with Jesus. How many agents are you in charge of now?
Well, with this newer position, it rose from 150 to something short of 500.
First of all, kudos, because I could never do this job. Listen, I'm great with my clients and I pride myself on that. All of my business is based on referrals, and that's because I'm good at what I do. I could not do Larry's position in the manner in which he does it by any stretch of the imagination. I think you're genuinely one of a kind. I really do.
Oh, I'm blushing again.
Well, listen, this isn't a Larry fest. I'm just saying.
It kind of sounds like it.
It does.
You know what? I came from a background, really, I think this is a word to anybody that wants to get in to this sort of a position in management and real estate. I don't know. I did a lot of different things in my life in my earlier years. I came out of college with a electronics degree. My first job was in Rolling Meadows, Illinois, doing systems equipment engineering for a company that no longer exists called Western Electric. My career was interrupted by a little short stint with the government in Vietnam. And came out of that, which I'm very happy about. Found myself walking into a situation where the government regulations were that the company you worked for still had to hire you back. They couldn't.
Okay.
They couldn't just fire you because you were serving the military. I got back and everything had changed. The economy was moving. The economy, as everybody well knows, listening to this, has ups and downs. And
in the 70s, it was.
Yeah.
It was especially bad.
Yeah, and I decided to use my GI Bill. I got a lot of training at Harper College and all the real estate courses. Although I never really thought about getting into real estate, and that's how it all started. The engineering jobs dried up. I found myself looking maybe for a new career, and my landlady was a realtor, and she talked me into taking the state test, and voila, I passed it.
Voila.
She got me into the company she worked for, which was an ERA company in Palatine. And I learned so much from that manager. The owner of the company had 14 offices. He was very charismatic. And truthfully, I've picked up a lot from him. I picked up a lot from everybody I worked for.
Sure.
And, kind of mashed it all together. I never thought I'd be a public speaker or somebody in front of a big crowd, but during the big recession of the late 1970s and early 1980s, I found myself being asked to teach real estate at Harper College, which I did, but I stayed in real estate at that period of time. I
didn't know that.
Yeah, well,
cool.
Surprising things. And I had my own company then, and the recession was really bad. Interest rates were peaking at 20%.
Yeah, I remember.
And we
only because my mother was a realtor at the time.
Yeah, we think we have it bad now. Well, it was worse then, and I hope to heck that it never gets that way again. So you find yourself. I used to call myself a survivor. I survived my stint in the service. I survived a really bad real estate market, and still kept a house and everything else. Some people weren't that
Kept a
fortunate.
roof over your head. Yeah.
So but you know what? I saw this is going to be commercial for Coldwell Banker. I saw the writing on the wall. I watched in the very early '80s. I watched a new company come into town. They weren't really a real new company. They were in California for nearly 100 years and took California by storm, the leading company in California. And of course, you know, the weather here comes from California and a lot of trends do. And so Coldwell Banker bought a 33 office operation in based in Elk Grove. And that was about 1982 or 1980, perhaps. And I was taking note of it because at that time I still had my own company. I was president of my own company. And, you know, brokers were having a tough time. And I watched Coldwell Banker come into town and take everything by storm. And
Wow.
they invented new ways of doing business. So I had kind of made the decision that if things got worse, I'd probably close up shop and go to work for Coldwell Banker. And that's what I did in 1982. It was amazing what I walked into. Once again, I had a charismatic manager. Dottie Bruno was her name. She's living life up in Lake Geneva now, enjoying life.
Awesome.
I learned a lot from her. So I guess what I'm saying is I learned a lot of what I did by other people.
Sure. Well,
And,
I think that's the best way to learn.
and the experiences of it. And I won't say much about this, but as an engineer at the company I worked for, I learned what bad management was. I wasn't in management, but I was governed by management. And I saw a lot of really bad examples that I reflect back on and said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be a manager like that. I'm not going to treat people like that. You know, it was a culmination of things. And I got into real estate with Coldwell Banker, started teaching for Coldwell Banker at the same time instead of Harper College. And I really started enjoying what I was doing. The recession was showing signs of breaking in 1982. And by
Yep.
the end of the year, it kind of did. And things went from rags to riches, so to speak.
Right. Yeah.
The company, when I joined Coldwell Banker, I was a salesperson. I was tired of carrying a company on my shoulders.
Sure.
And I was suddenly enjoying success and enjoying that. They tried for a year and a half to get me into a management position at Coldwell Banker, which I kept saying, no, I'm happy. I'm happy. Why would I do that? And finally they convinced me, and I did.
With great success.
I warned you this is going to be a Coldwell Banker commercial. They have so many good programs that you didn't see elsewhere.
That still holds true, by the way. It really does.
Yeah, we always wanted to be on the cutting edge of technology. Everybody says that now, but very few people do really
Right.
have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
And we're a big company. We're part of a holding company that not only has, here goes a commercial again, they own ERA, Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's,
Corcoran.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
ERA,
Yep.
and a couple of other companies. They own a mortgage company. They're a big interest in guaranteed rate mortgage company. And we also have the world's largest real estate relocation and title company. So we're a full service company. So it makes it my job so much easier and Cheri's job so much easier.
It really does.
Using these services to back up the agents. So
Yeah, let me just quickly give a shout out to Burnett Title. In my opinion, we have the best title company out there. Cindy Lakowitz and Gina and everybody on that team just does an amazing job. And for those who don't understand real estate or even what that means, because I remember actually coming on board with Larry and part of his spiel, because as he said, he's a salesman. So part of his spiel was, well, we really encourage you to use our mortgage company and our title company, and I was like, yeah, whatever, I'll use who I want, right? That's how arrogant I was when I first started, and then you start to understand why those things are necessary, and when you work with a great team, right? When you work with the Lisa Vaskys of the world, the Cindy Lakowitzes of the world. Sorry, guys, I hope you don't mind me using your names. And then you need a great attorney as well, right? So when you have that team, all the transactions just go through so smoothly, and you don't have to worry about whether or not their mortgage is going to go through, or whether or not there's going to be a lien on the property because Burnett Title is, doing the title search. It's just all a pretty little package that works. I did not mean for this to be a Coldwell Banker commercial. I really didn't.
Really didn't.
No, I truly swear to God. I didn't mean it to be a Larry Rowan party. I didn't mean it to be a Coldwell Banker party. I will say since I've been a realtor for 11 plus years, I've never worked anywhere else. And that has everything to do with not only Larry, but the corporation and what they provide their agents with, right? They arm you with all the best tools. So when you go out there, you're going to win. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but you're going to win the listing. You're going to win and I just feel like this has always been the best company to work for.
And I will just say maybe, and then we'll get off the commercial, but Cheri founded a lot of her business, or is very successful following, on the fact that she's got a team. And that team is the mortgage and the lender and the lawyer and everybody that goes into a transaction.
Right.
And Cheri knows how to be the traffic manager of that and recommend the best people. And that makes the transaction go very smooth, which makes Cheri all that much more important and all that much more viable in the business, where Cheri gets a lot of referrals and everything else from happy past customers and everything else, because they had all the best of all the services. Cheri recognized that.
Thanks, Larry. Yeah, and that's in no small part to listen. It's not just Coldwell Banker Services. You have to arm yourself as an agent with a list of lenders and a list of attorneys that you're willing to work with. And I've got the best. So let me just do a quick shout out to Chris Galloway as well, because I think he's
great,
excellent attorney.
Great.
In terms of real estate, and believe me, I've used him for other things too. But he's a real estate attorney and he's fantastic. So thank you, Chris. Getting back to our office, I could never do your job because I feel like when I see Larry, and this goes back to, and we just switched locations. So at our former location, which is like, our new location is only a month old, and I've truly only been to that office, I think 2 or 3 times. When I would walk by your office, I always see you in a closed door meeting with multiple different people. I'm not calling anybody out, but every time I'm there, you've got a closed door meeting and you're discussing whatever their trauma is for the day. And I just can't even fathom being in charge of 500 and some odd people, where you have to, I've always called management, because I've been a manager almost my entire life. I've always called management professional babysitting, because that's how I feel. I feel like half my job is listening to people bitch about other people. Like, I just don't, and I don't mean that they're bitching about other people in our office. I mean, they're bitching about their buyers, they're bitching about their sellers, they're bitching about whatever it is they're bitching about. And I can't even fathom being in that position. How do you handle that?
Ooh, tall order. Thank you. Well, first of all, if you want to get into the management side of this business, I guess you need a high tolerance of people.
Yeah.
You
need
can't
to have
hate,
patience.
you can't hate people, right? And I basically love the people I work with, and they are, like Cheri said, the people we've developed, especially in our office, but other areas in the company, they're family. I mean, we treat them like family. They treat me like family. That makes work not work. It makes work kind of enjoyable, no matter what you're having to do. And a manager is I call a manager, part one of the jobs is a fireman, because we're putting out fires.
Yes.
Where you need to be a problem solver for the agents to help them be successful. I mean, they'll call you in the evening. Oh my gosh, I've got this deal. It looks like it's going to crumble. This is going on. This is going on. It's that person's fault, or it's this person's fault, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it helps to have some experience, so you can draw back on that experience pool. I kind of enjoy that, and and I enjoy being able to help out keeping transactions together. That not only helps the agents, it helps the consumers, it helps the clients.
Yeah, for sure.
Fulfill their dreams and get their forever homes. And there's just so much detail. And if somebody thinks that real estate
Is
is
easy.
like just
You're
opening
wrong.
a door or something, they're so wrong.
You couldn't be more wrong.
They're so wrong. These hardworking agents, there's so much that they do constantly to keep transactions on track, to keep transactions bailed out, to fix transactions that are bad. And, don't forget that what I'm speaking of is like our Schaumburg office and our wonderful agents in the Schaumburg office. There are other agents, thousands of them in our market area. And, some of those folks, I have to say this very gingerly, you would believe shouldn't be in the business.
Oh, my God.
And either because of their knowledge or because of their behavior or whatever. But anyway, getting back to the manager's job, I have to help find some solutions. I'm usually pretty good at it. Nobody's perfect at that, but I do have some experience to call into that. So to help. And I like that. I like when an agent comes back to me and say, "Hey, Larry, we got that deal together." And yay for you,
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Does your experience as an agent, and I'm not trying to age you out here, but you're 40 plus years of experience, right?
Right.
Obviously.
I'm about 100. Yeah.
Obviously that helps you be a good managing broker. But and I don't, just for the record, I do not want his job. But if I were to go for his job, and I only have 11 years of experience. And Larry, you can attest to this. I think in the 11 plus years I have been with Coldwell Banker, I have needed you. I can count on one hand how many times I've called you.
I'd say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. I don't know if that's luck or if that's because I'm a good manager in terms of managing the process from beginning to end.
That's a great testimony to your experience and knowledge. And, if some of our audience here are realtors, some of them are, buyers, sellers, civilians, whatever, that's why you need a good realtor like Cheri. She knows it and she can guide you through this without having to come to me saying, "Larry, I've never seen this before." And I mean, that happens to all of us. I don't care how experienced you are.
Right. It does happen all the time.
We've
Every
never seen this
transaction is
before.
different.
Yeah.
Every transaction is different in real estate, which is the God's honest truth. So if you think that real estate is opening a door, letting them in and selling a house and driving away in your, I don't know, Porsche, you are so wrong, because it is not at all what you see on, I don't know, what are those real estate shows?
There's so many of them on HGTV.
No, not HGTV. Yes, I agree with that. But I meant like the gazillion dollar people in LA and in New York. They've got their own shows. I don't watch them, obviously, but people tell me about them all the time. And they're like, "Oh, is that what being a realtor is like?" And without even seeing the show, I'm like, no, it is. No, the answer is no. It's nothing like that, because you have 100 balls in the air that you have to juggle at one point and make sure that when they all come to a landing, they land softly and they land where they're supposed to be and everything just works, right?
Yes. And where Cheri just said, she's only had to ask me for advice, like you could hold up a couple of fingers. While we've been recording this, I've gotten 3 texts from one other particular agent that's got questions. And, that agent does that frequently to me. That agent asks for help, or maybe I have to come into the office in the evening and guide that person through writing an offer.
Right.
And you know what? I just consider that part of my job. And I have to accept the fact that I'm basically on call 7 days a week. Not everybody wants to do that.
No, and that's true. That's 100% true.
When I'm at home with my wife and the phone rings and I look at it, I said, "Oh boy, what is it?" And it's like 9 o'clock at night. but I do have to answer my agents, and I have to answer them quickly. And if they have a question or they text me or whatever, if my agents like me, it's probably because I do respond to them, and I try to do it very lightning quickly because I know that they could win or lose a transaction
Based
by
on your
how
answer.
quickly I respond to them. If it's 8 o'clock on a Friday night when I'm out at a restaurant or something, if I push that phone call off into voicemail and answer it at 9:30 Saturday morning, they might have lost a deal.
Right.
And maybe I could have helped them with it. Maybe not. But so I mean, the responsibility of a manager is kind of widespread, and
Kind of.
it's you.
It's not
you,
kind of widespread.
you have to. I don't know where this comes from in me, to be quite frankly, because being an engineer in a recruiting seminar years ago, they said don't hire engineers.
Really?
Because they have
because they're single focused?
Yeah, they're not people. They've got back in that day they have slide rules in a pencil protector, a pen protector in their vest pocket, and they'd rather not be bothered by people. And somewhat that's true. But on the same token, by the way, for some of you that are listening, we love educators, we love nurses, and people like that. They all take care of people.
Right.
And that's the image that we like to hire. That's the people that can make excellent managers, as they gain a little experience.
My husband is going to kill me, by the way, for continually saying this, because he really, really, really wants me to be a managing broker. And it's not that I'm not good at managing people, because I am good at it. I just don't like it. Like true. I don't like having to manage other people. I'm singularly focused on what can I do for my clients. And that's what I want to focus on, right? I don't want to focus on the 500 and some odd agents that you have. I can't even imagine, Larry, honestly. Listen, the truth is, people go, oh, you're a realtor, you can set your own hours. No, you can't. No, you can't. Not if you want to be successful. In my opinion, if you want to be a successful agent, you are available when your clients want you, period, right? So you have to be available. I mean, I've had clients text me at 2 a.m. I don't answer them at 2 a.m, just for the record, but I'm pretty much available from 8 a.m. to midnight, every single day, 7 days a week. And that's just me and my clients. And I'm not juggling anywhere near 500 clients at a time. And that's what Larry has to deal with as the VP of brokerage services in the Northwest region. I can't even imagine dealing with that many people and having to respond that quickly. And seriously, kudos to you.
Oh, thank you. You're tiring me out.
I know. I'm sorry. It's gonna wrap up soon. Believe me.
Yeah. No. I mean, just it makes it sound like my job is hard. The more you like your job, the easier it is.
That's true.
And the people around you, in some cases you were responsible for hiring them, and in many cases, like with this 500 number we're badgering around, I don't know all of those people. They're in several of our other offices, and I haven't seen all of them yet. I've had this position for, I don't know, a few months. And how can you meet 500 people all at once and get to know them and really get to know who they are?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Sorry to jump in. I'm totally cutting you off. But, Coldwell Banker kind of did a left turn somewhere. And, we were doing it this way, and this way has worked for a long time. And now we're doing it this way. And so instead of, Larry used to be just in charge of our office. And now we have kind of 4 people in charge of our office, and they all have different titles and they all have different things that they're responsible for. And listen, I'm not saying that there's a wrong way and a right way, because this is new to everybody. And I have no complaints so far. I'm just saying it's new. 500 some odd agents. You've got to figure out their personalities, figure out how to handle each person, because that's what you have to do when you're managing people, right? You have to manage each person in a different way.
Right. And, it's not, I don't really like the word managing people.
Oh, sorry.
I don't that's okay. But
Sorry.
I have to be very respectful to them. Some people can take me being pretty frank and blunt, and I know then some people can't. And you have to kind of
Well, that's what I mean.
dance around it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You have to figure out how each person works best with you, right? And
Right.
500 and some odd agents, I just don't get, nope, couldn't do it. Don't want to do it. Thank you very much. I love what I do, and I'm just going to keep on doing that.
And let's not misconstrue this. These people are in my charge basically, but we have, as you pointed out, a team approach to managing the offices. So we
Right.
have 4 managers for 4 offices
Yep.
that are I like to call them, this is not the official term, the homeroom managers like me,
That's
Schomburg.
actually good.
But yet we all share in the responsibilities, and some of us have specialties that we've been assigned to. It might be recruiting, it might be training, etc. And actually, it's a more new age way of dealing with offices and the team approach. Because heaven forbid I'm gone for a weekend or something else and
Nope,
can't
that's not
answer a
allowed.
call, or my phone breaks down or whatever. All these agents, my agents, their agents, have somebody else they can call. And so they're the heroes and heroines, to those agents too.
Oh,
So
absolutely. I'm sorry. I don't mean to take away from anybody. I'm just, I apologize if that's the way it came across, because that's not the way I mean it. Listen, every person that you work with this team is fantastic. I just, I'm obviously partial to you because I've known you
thank you.
for
Makes me
11
feel
years.
good.
Yeah.
Uh, everyone has to remember this real estate industry was sort of stagnant, sort of the same for, oh my gosh, so many years before I even got into it. And change is absolute,
Yep.
and change is always happening. And there's always been change in our business. The change is accelerating at a breakneck speed right now.
It sure is.
Our methods, I'm saying the brokerage community,
Right.
are under attack by consumers, by consumer groups, by the Justice Department, by anybody and everybody that, it's kind of jealousy in a way, because we've got the best methodology and the best carried out real estate industry in the world. And other countries marvel at the fact that we have multiple listing services
Right.
that afford the agents a clearinghouse, a catalog of all the homes for sale. They don't have that everywhere.
Yeah.
And we've had a well-oiled machine for many years. That doesn't mean it's perfect.
No,
And-
God, no.
And
Yeah.
and you could listen to Good Morning America or some shows that bring on a so-called expert that isn't always an expert. And don't
Almost
let
never an
me
expert.
downgrade them. They might be, and they might not be. But what I'm talking about is they have an opinion, and there are lawsuits against the whole real estate industry, the multiple listing service industry, the National Association of Realtors, and title companies, and everybody that touches the real estate deals. We're under a lot of attack and stress right now. We're going to come out of it.
For sure.
We will change a few of the ways that we do business, because pretty much we'll
We
have to.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, I mean, those of you listening that are consumers, this means that you were under the impression that when you were shopping for a home, you would choose your own realtor. Fine, you can still do that. You were under the impression you didn't have to pay for those services. Well, because
have
of
to
the
now.
Justice Department and the lawsuits and the class action lawsuits, it looks like, I'll just say very cautiously, because this is still in adjudication.
courts. Yeah.
It looks like buyers will have to pay, they'll have to hire a realtor,
Right.
a realtor to show them homes.
Yes. Now you're going to pay a
looks
buying
like
commission.
you'll be paying your buyer broker that you hire.
It's a huge change. I understand both sides of the argument. Let me just say that. Business has been done, in a certain way in the state of Illinois for a very long time. And I think that that's about to change, and it's going to throw the industry on its ear, I guess. That being said, agents will survive. there's a reason we're good at what we do. When I tell you that we have 100 balls in the air juggling everything, I'm not joking. And if you think you can do that yourself, you're wrong as a consumer. So there still is a place for realtors in this world, whether you're a buyer's agent, whether you're a seller's agent, whether you represent both sides. I've done all of it. And I can tell you there's always going to be a place for that, for certain. It's just going to change the way the industry
is approached charging for the services.
Right. Yes. Thank you.
And what the pressure is, and I have to be very careful in what I say because nothing here is certain. Nothing here has been 100% resolved. The government would like buyers to pay a commission, sellers to pay a commission.
Right.
And it hasn't been that way in the past.
No.
And so we're coming to grips with that. And the outcome will end up okay. You know, there's a lot of guidelines we have to work through. We've got a couple of governmental agencies. And because nothing's absolutely resolved on this, we're a little bit up in the air. So, you know, for the time being, we want consumers to know that we're there for them. And whether they want to buy, whether they want to sell, we observe the code of ethics, and you know, we explain to our consumers their choices.
Yes,
and we don't fix commissions. There's no such thing as a fixed commission, but we're still
we can't take kickbacks. We can't do any of that.
Right, we can't take. You know, we have our own title company and everything else. We love to suggest that consumers can use our title company. They don't have to. And what a lot of consumers don't know, they have a choice. You know, you choose your own home insurance company, you choose your own car insurance company, you can choose your own title company because you have to present that you have to prove good title to a buyer.
That's right.
And you can choose. It's you. It's not me. It's not another realtor. We can suggest, give you options, give you several suggestions, but it's not singularly up to us. It's not singularly up to a lawyer that you might hire. And you know what? That's where our job comes in, to show you the choices, to show you what you can do, and offer you the best services available. Getting back to a manager, compliance is a word, it's an issue. And that's part of my job, is to make sure agents are educated and they're ethical, and to make sure we're doing things the right way.
I can tell you, as an agent working, and it wouldn't matter who I'm working for. Sorry, Coldwell Banker, but it wouldn't matter who I'm working for. What I was about to say is I'm all about ethics. And actually, that's an upcoming podcast that I'm going to talk about, is ethics in general. I can always 100% stand by every transaction that I have done with my buyers or sellers, either one, because I know I have done everything ethically 100% correct. And that's a big deal to me. Like, I live and die by ethics. That's just who I am. And that's not necessarily always the right way to be. I can tell you that and I'll get to that in a different podcast. But, I could be a lot richer right now if I weren't so ethical, I guess. I really could be. I could be a millionaire right now. And trust me, I'm not. That's the God's honest truth. So, Larry, I'm just going to end it there, because I think everybody has a good sense of what it is like to not only be a realtor, but to be a managing broker and to be a successful managing broker. And that, gosh, I think in terms of being successful as a managing broker to an office or offices, you really have to be 100% genuine. And you are. And so I thank you for that. And so does the rest of the Schaumburg office.
Oh, gosh.
I can guarantee you.
Thank you. Thank you. We kind of got into a commercial on this for Coldwell Banker, but you know what? I have to say that I don't think I would have been as successful in doing my job, and if I didn't have the resources of Coldwell Banker, and because the companies aren't all the same.
No.
And they gave me the ability, the resources, and the backing up. and the ability to run an office the way I thought would be the best. And that's why I've lasted all these years.
And ditto. I plan on sticking with Coldwell Banker the rest of my career. And I get, I'm not the only one. Trust me. Everybody's hard in recruiting, right? Every company has their managing brokers that is, drilling that into people's heads. You got to recruit, you got to recruit. I get 4 or 5 recruiting calls a week, but I'm not leaving. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. If you want to suggest a topic or you have any comments on this or any other show, you can reach out to me at www.lifewithasherryontop.com, or you can email me at lifewithasherryontop@gmail.com, and Cheri is spelled Cheri. Thanks everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.